Linking with the Higher Will, we're continuing our discussion through the Spiritual Growth book by Sanaya Roman, Becoming Our Higher Selves. Of course, welcome here to True Higher Self. The primary benefit of linking with the Higher Will, it is really our life's purpose, our life's mission. Primary benefit and what you'll learn today is how to discover your true passion. Linking with the Higher will expose to you your true passion and your life's work. And the benefit, of course, is number one, understanding what that passion is. Number two, having the ability to live in that passion, meaning that you can use what you love to do to help others. And in doing so, number three, you'll be able to provide your life's work. You'll be able to sustain yourself, work in the field that you're really passionate about. And in doing so, you're using that particular skill set that you're blessed with, that you love to do. You're helping other folks. You're really living in your passion and in your life's work. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think it's going to bring great value to you. So let's get going. So what is the higher will? The higher will is an aspect of God, of all there is, of source energy, or whatever your term is, whatever you like. It's moving currents of energy that carries everything in one direction to a higher evolution. It's a general stream of love and spiritual energies that leads everything in all kingdoms. That means plant, animals, human, you name it. The purpose of growth and aliveness and for a higher order of being. Now, we know that there's a divine plan and planner for the universe, and we're part of that, but everyone does not realize that. But there is, and that's something to keep in mind. So when we see things that we consider to be out of order or things that we think perhaps this should not be happening, please remember to remind yourself. How about that? Remember to remind yourself that there is a planner, and that there is a plan, and that we live in what I like to say, we tell people this all the time, we live in a cosmos, not a chaos. So source energy, God, all there is not surprise. He or she is simply guiding. This is part of it. This is part of it. And I say that because particularly now in an area where people feel so uncertain, we feel like, something is going amiss, something is not right, and this should not be happening. Well, we know that it should be for one particular reason, because it is. The higher will is stepping up the frequencies of these energies with great precision to move your physical world and all consciousness in toward their highest evolution. It's important. The frequencies are moving up. Things happen for one reason. You will be on your life's path, and you will be met with challenges, obstacles. We call them opportunities for one reason. That reason is to help you understand who you are. That reason, ultimately, is self-realization. You have complete free will to react in any way you want to these energies. If you want to use them to grow spiritually, then you can, and they'll greatly assist you. If you want to connect with this current of evolution, simply be willing to have your life take on a higher order. I'm assuming if you're listening to content like this that you are on the path, and this is something that you're willing to do. The higher will is the will to do good and to serve and to assist others. The higher will is the will to do good, not just for yourself, but to assist others. You can strengthen your alignment with the higher will by asking questions like this. How does creating this contribute to the higher good of myself and others? How does creating this, whatever this is, the more you broaden your thinking to encompass servicing others, the more attuned you will become to the higher will. And the more you attune to the higher will, the more you'll discover your passion, the thing that you were sent here to do, that no one else can do like you, that will assist others, but in doing so will expose to you your life's work and that thing that you love so much that you would do it, and you're doing it for free. Now, there is a higher purpose to your life, a special contribution you can make and come to. Part of your reason for coming to Earth is to evolve yourself as well as to serve humanity in some way. Now, we'll call the process of evolving yourself your life's purpose, and the serving of others, humanity, your life's work. They're both intertwined because as you serve others, you will naturally evolve yourself. One of the things that I learned that I love, that I'm aware of now, is that reciprocity in terms of the reaping and sowing and technique, it is inescapable. For example, giving and getting are on the same plane of energy. And the more you give, the more you get. And to understand that, particularly in a society like we live, is just paramount, because you're never concerned about lack, among other things. And here, by giving of yourself, your time, your skill set, your passion, you're always going to be receiving. I'll tell you from personal standpoint, there's no feeling like the feeling of helping other people. There's no feeling like the feeling of truly helping other human beings. You have a special role to play, something that you are uniquely fitted to do. Your life's work will take on various forms at different times. The form may change from month to month or year to year, but it's important that you stay in touch with your purpose and your vision as it grows and as it expands. Now, you can discover your life's work through examining the skills that you love to use. So let's pay attention here. How do I know what my life's work is? Well, what is it that you love to do? You can begin by examining the skills you love to use, the things you love to do, and the areas that you are naturally drawn to. Whatever you love to do will also serve others in some way, for it is the nature of the universe that when you use your higher skills, you automatically contribute to others. Be aware, particularly parents, in terms of our educational system, one of the things that we do is promote a standardized, cookie-cutter, systematic way of thinking onto, our children, of course, who become our adults at some point in society. Me, for example, I am a high school graduate, college graduate, dual degree, and I found myself sitting in an office several stories up one day, looking out the window, considering to myself that I don't really like this job. I don't really like what I'm doing. By that time, I'd had a mortgage, a wife, and a daughter. And the discovery and the revolution came to me. I really love audiovisual. I really love photography and videography. But I was nowhere near that particular industry. So what I'm suggesting to you is, as we are being responsible for our children's education, even for our own, consider the things that bring you joy, that are outside of the scope of what society says from a standardized method that you should be interested in. If your children gravitate toward photography, encourage them. Buy them a camera. Take them to the park to take pictures. If your children love music, the sound of music, encourage them. Take piano lessons. Allow them to be creative in that arena. The point is, your life will be sustained, and even more, through your passion. Through your passion. Your dreams about your ideal life are showing you your potential and your higher path. Don't discard your dreams and fantasies as merely wishful thinking. Honor them as messages from the deepest part of your being about your life's work and what you come here to do. Now, your higher self is linked with the higher will and is always sending you guidance about how you can flow more with the universe and you can ride the higher current. To align with the higher will, this is important. To align with the higher will, develop an awareness of your energy. The last two lectures, we talked about creating with light, and initially we talked about connecting with your higher self. If you've not listened to those, I suggest you do that. Connect with your higher self. Become aware of your energy body so that you know when things are on or off, so that you can be aware of the people that are around you. How do you feel from moment to moment? That's very important. Your feelings are very, very key in terms of allowing you to distinguish where you are on the path. If you are in alignment, if you are not in alignment, your emotions, your feelings will be your key indicator. Now, you can also align with the higher will by listening to your inner messages. Your higher self is always guiding you to be aligned with the higher will. As you learn to tell the difference between the inner guidance you receive from your higher self and the messages that you receive from your intellect, you'll be able to create what you want more rapidly and joyfully. So the question that begs to be asked here is, how do I discern between my higher self messages and then the messages that simply come from my mind and from my sensory perception data? Well, one way that you can tell the difference between the messages from your higher self and the messages from your intellect, from your past, present, logic, etc., is to note if there's any fearful thought behind the message. How do you feel? How does it make you feel? Messages from your intellect are often based on thoughts of scarcity, guilt, or a need to protect yourself from some imagined threat. This is your mind at work, suggesting to you this is what happened in the past, projecting to you possibly this is what will happen in the future. If you're asking for guidance and you truly want answers, do not pay attention to answers you receive that are based on fear, for they are not from the higher self. That's very important in a time like this where so much social media, so much news, everything is fear-ridden and fear-based to keep you tuning in, to keep you under control. The messages that you will receive from your higher self will allow you to feel peaceful and balanced. Just think about it like this. We're connected to all there is, our higher self, and we're making the effort to be connected to our higher will. But let's just start from the beginning. We're connected to all there is. Not only are we connected, we are that. We're that. And so we're connected to omnipotence, omnipresence, and an omniscient power that knows all things, that's everywhere, and that has the ability and the limitless resources, everything that we need. From what standpoint is there even room for fear? What standpoint? The way fear comes in is when one doesn't know who they're connected to or who they even are. I'm not suggesting to you that what you see with your eyes is not real. Of course, people get sick all the time. People transition all the time. There are people in the world who do not make the best decisions, who end up on the news all the time. But I am suggesting to you, you have the ability not to fear any of that, because you can be in the world and not of the world. You can be in the same area of sickness, of bad decisions, of economic downfall, and not be affected. You can. It has to do with your mental capacity. It has to do with your connectivity to your higher source. So listening to content like this and really digesting and practicing and understanding your connectivity to your higher will, to your higher self, is really going to help you, particularly in days like today, because you're going to get, if you've not done already, many phone calls from people who do not have this level of understanding, and they are going to provide additional fear, additional worries. And I assume you're listening to this because you do not enjoy the feeling of worry and anxiety. You want to figure out a way to live, even in times like now, a more productive life cycle. Worry has no transformational value. Worry. Now, it's important that you understand that you are a co-creator in all of this. So when I'm talking about source, infinite mind, universal mind, you're a part of all of this. Consider the fact that you are not your body. You have a body. You are not your mind. You have a mind. Most people think from the ego-based standpoint. Their names, their titles, their duties, their ethnicity, their sexuality. That is not who you are. That's how you are identified on this particular plane. Who you are is the larger I, the person we talked about before, the entity we talked about before that is connected with all there is. Limitless resources, universal mind, knowing all things, being present. That's who you are. So when you are approaching your life's contrasts, obstacles, opportunities, think of it as your higher self. Be your higher self when you are confronted and trying to make decisions about your life. They'll be much more productive. Now, how do you know if you're exerting too much or too little force when it comes to connecting with your higher will? How do you know if you're exerting your own will against the higher will? How do you know? Well, if you're trying to create something and you must struggle or push and work hard to force things to happen and you're getting very little result, then you're not following your higher will. Once you become connected with your higher will, there will be a particular amount of flow, of ease, of enjoyment, of peace, of passion. And you will maybe not be able to describe it verbally, but you will feel it from a discernment standpoint. Now, this happens easily when you flow with the higher will. Just remember, you are meant to live a joyful life. You're here to create your dreams. You can create a heaven on earth for yourself. You deserve to have the best life you can imagine. Do what you love and follow your heart in every area of your life. For as you do, you are aligning with your higher will. Guys, thanks for joining me this week. There will be a linking with your higher will meditation that will go with this particular lecture. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Again, in summary, in terms of the benefits, there's really just one, but it is a massive one. By linking and joining with your higher will, you have the opportunity of discovering your true passion, your life's work. And by doing so, you now understand what it is and how it is you're going to affect your local community and your world community, what you can do for others. And again, there's no feeling like the feeling of helping citizens, brothers, oneness, the self, others in this community, because we're all one. That's why it feels so good, because as you do unto one, you do unto yourself. Thanks for joining, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment field below. Please subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. There's a lot of great content here that can help you and will help you become your true higher self. Our goal is very simple. We provide spiritual practices and insights that help people become their higher self. So again, thank you for joining, and we'll see you again next week.